So this video is going to talk about is going to be an instructive video for testimonials for child custody, and I'm thinking about either having two testimonials from actors, and then Jeremy, or just the two actors. So let's try both ways. So the actors. I'd like to have two different testimonials from two actors, and one of the actors is going to say that one of the actors is going to say that child custody is one of the most painful and one of the most important decisions that I had to go through in my entire life. In my particular case, I was getting divorced. This would be it doesn't matter whether it's a man or woman. I think we can have one man and one woman. Let's do this as a man. I was getting divorced, and my wife, who was emotionally unstable, who was a threat to the child, had she'd even tried to plant drugs in my vehicle. Also became violent with me. Was saying in court that I was the one that was a threat, and I was the one that was potentially dangerous to the child. She filed emergency motions to keep me away from the child, and I was having visitations to the child, supervised visitations, because the courts didn't know who to believe. I think that's the key here. That there was so much lying, and there's so much. So many things that were said about me that the courts got scared and they don't know who to trust, and so they allowed me to have visitation rights to the child, which were supervised, and I felt horrible, and it was a very emotional process for me. And then I decided to fight back, and I found a company called Digital Forensics Corporation, and they were able to identify digital evidence and preserve it and authenticated, and the evidence proved the history of my wife acting in a disturbed manner for years, and really acting as a threat, and threatening me and my child for years. We've established that she had a history of mental breakdowns and mental issues through text messages and other electronic communication means. And we were able to, Digital Forensics Corporation was able to put a report together for me from various different accounts, accounts that were used by her, as well as accounts that were used by me, that showed communication, that showed her character and her history, as well as information that was pulled off of devices that contained deleted data that she didn't want anyone else to see, and we were able to, and they were able to create a digital forensics report, which was authenticated and court approved by a court approved forensic expert, which they are, and we were able to present that report, and as a result, I was able to get custody of my child, and the mother started receiving help for her mental health issues, and I would be lost had they not found the digital evidence, preserved it, and had they not put me in touch with an attorney that specializes in digital evidence and how to report it. The attorney that was working on my case was very professional. He understood how to tell a story of what I've went through, living with a disturbed individual who was a threat to the child, and he understood how to leverage evidence and present evidence, because in my mind, if you go into court without evidence, and you turn your court case into a he said, she said, you're bound to lose. You're going to lose by paying excessive attorney fees. You're going to lose because the courts are not going to know who to believe. You're going to lose because you don't have a way to establish history. You don't have a way to establish character of the other of the parent who potentially could be a threat to your child. And I am grateful, and part of the reason why I decided to do this video was because if I can get the message across to other parents who are going through this insanely difficult and insanely painful process, I just want to tell you that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that there's people out there that can help you, that there's people out there that know the process. They can take control of the situation and help you gain control of the situation as well, by using their experience and their know-how in this field to basically give you the evidence that you're looking for, and to put you in touch with attorneys who specialize in presenting important evidence which can change your child custody outcome. And I'm so grateful to Digital Forensics Corporation for helping me and through this tough time, and shedding light on situations which I think otherwise would have been very difficult for the courts and the decision makers in courts to know, such as forensic psychologist, GAL, guardian ad litem, attorneys, the judge. Everyone was able to see the history and the true character of the other parent, and obviously as they went through the history and were made aware of what I always knew for years, they were able to make the best decision for my child, and now we're happy, and I'm happy that my child is out of harm's way. So that's the first video testimonial. I think we should have an expert do, if you can create a script for that. The second video should be a mother, and the second testimonial video would be as follows. A mother was, so I'll be the woman in this case, and I wanted to record this video to let you know that child custody is not a one-size-fits-all process, that every process and every situation is unique, and therefore it requires a unique approach. In my situation, I was married to a man who was highly aggressive and was actually involved in domestic violence, and I was a victim of domestic violence for years, and as a result, my child was suffering because the child was in the middle of this highly stressful and dangerous situation with domestic violence. And I decided to leave finally when I had enough. After years of abuse, verbal abuse as well as physical, I decided to leave, and I started going through child custody, and I engaged Digital Forensics, who I just want to say were great, and took the case very seriously, and they were able to identify digital evidence that proved, shed light on the history of what I had to go through. Obviously, as we got into court, there was denial that this ever happened. There was denial that I was ever abused, verbally as well as physically, and Digital Forensics was able to identify deleted text messages, emails, messages from web-based accounts, cloud-based accounts that show the history of the abuse, and as well as proving that the child should not be in a situation where they're in imminent danger. And they were able to put me in touch with an attorney who helped me along through the process, helped present the evidence which Digital Forensics identified, preserved, and authenticated in court as a court-approved expert. And as a result, I was able to change my custody arrangement and provide safeguard for my child, and provide a way for the father to get supervised visits and to get help for his anger and aggression problems. You can actually use some of the things from the first video as well. We can do a short script for Jeromy, and Jeremy's script would be as an attorney that specializes in digital forensics evidence and preservation reporting on digital evidence, I can't stress enough how important it is to present actual evidence in court. It is not enough to just file motions and present your case without any solid evidence, without providing a timeline of events, without providing facts, dates, times, history of individuals involved in child custody related issues. And I wanted to say that digital forensics can identify the evidence in a timely fashion and help you present your case in court with facts, with dates, with times, histories, character analysis based off the digital evidence is vital to these type of child custody cases, and it's so important to have a true specialist on your side when it comes to these type of high-profile, high emotional situations where not only your lives are at stake but the lives of the children. And Digital Forensics Corporation can help you resolve these type of issues through identification, preservation, and authentication of digital evidence, which can then be shown in court to compel decision makers, judge, magistrate, GAL, to make the proper decision and award custody or change custody in a manner in which the child can benefit most.